Hello and good evening to everyone, and welcome to Overcoming Life Issues with me. I'm Joan Blake, and I am excited to be here. Our topic tonight is codependency and how we can overcome codependency in our lives. Sometimes we don't even know that we are codependent, but as we go through tonight's discussion, we will find out. Let's begin. Have you or anyone else online experienced a codependent situation? What is codependency? Codependency is a learned behavior that may have passed from generation to generation. It is an emotional and behavioral condition that prohibits you from enjoying a healthy, mutually satisfying relationship. That's what happens in a codependent relationship. Prior to now, codependency was looked at from the text of a addicted person, or one who was a drug addict, or one who was an alcoholic. That's how it was viewed from before. But recently, it has been viewed from a mental health issues if you're a caretaker, or if you have been, for example, going through a chronic illness and your spouse is caring for you. That also could lead to codependency, depending on how you view the situation. So we looked at what is codependency. The main issue that we have with codependency is that you, the person who is in this relationship, you have decided to make all of the needs of the person who you're caring for come before your own. And that is the issue right there. You do not want to live and enjoy yourself as you should, and you're taking on the issues of this person, whether that person is your spouse or a parent or what have you. So the types of codependency situations, and hi Maurice, the types of codependency situations that we can have a spousal situation, a parent, a sibling, a friend or co-worker, or any person like that. And so you mistake the act of loving that person for enabling that person, for as I said before, for putting all their needs before your own. So for example, I am in a situation where my I am helping my special needs daughter, and that can become sometimes very difficult. How does codependency, how did it start in a relationship? Okay, you might have had an experience in your dysfunctional home when you were growing up, and the members of that household had a lot of fear, anger, and a lot of pain and shame, because there were all types of things going on there. There was sexual abuse going on. There was physical abuse going on in the home, and everybody tried to stifle it. Now, stifle all the shame or all the abuse, and there might have been someone with an addiction there in the home when you were growing up, and that person, I said, um, the husband or the wife would try to enable that person, and that person became a codependent, and you were growing up with all that pain and shame, with all those things that were going on in the home. I explained last week how my mother took care of every single person and every single need that that person had. And so she put everybody's needs before her own. And I looked at that and I saw where she was a really good person, and I followed in her footsteps, and I thought I would do the same, just make sure my kids are okay, make sure that I I I teach them for homework. I make sure that they did their homework properly. I made sure they had everything that they needed, but up to a point. But my codependency was a little different. I kept on doing things that I like to do. Um, I was able to go on breaks, um, some breaks, so that I can replenish myself, little retreats. I go out to tea with my friends so that I could affirm who I am, and so on. So all of those things are called self-care. You have to care for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. What are the characteristics of a dependent? That's a good one. Some codependent people seem to have low self-esteem. They do not know how to really feel. Uh, they have such a low self-esteem. They need to feel better about themselves. They may become addicted or chemically dependent to feel better. And because they see themselves as victims, they are also attracted to people just like them. So they're always wanting to help somebody, to go beyond helping somebody. So they seek out partners who they can help. So instead of having a healthy relationship, two people having a healthy relationship, they seek out somebody who they can pity and rescue and save. And they never learn how to communicate their feelings to that person. They always feel that they are the one that is the helper, and they're going to help that relationship. They prefer compliments. They prefer compliments. They believe they need a relationship to feel good. How could you tell whether you are a codependent? Well, I have a list before you. We said before that you always tend to go after somebody to help them. You're always thinking about somebody else before your own. Even in the relationship that you share with someone else, you go beyond. You go beyond helping just to keep the peace. You go beyond your share just to keep the peace. You're afraid of being abandoned or feel alone. You feel responsible for your partner's happiness. You do not trust others. You wait on people to give you um, you wait to get self-worth from others, to get their approval. You have difficulty adjusting to change, and you have difficulty making decisions, and often doubt yourself. You are reluctant to trust others. And then it says here that your moods are controlled by the thoughts and feelings of those around you. Now this list is not in itself complete. To go to you have to speak to a therapist about your issues, and she would decide if you have some codependent tendencies. How do you overcome those tendencies to be a codependent? You want to start changing yourself. You want to start making sure that you are the one that you're going to change, not somebody else. Start with yourself. Begin to see value in yourself. Begin to see that you need to set boundaries for the other person in your relationship. For example, if that person and you decide to have a discussion about something, you want to make sure you tell them no cursing in this discussion. You want to make sure that they understand that there are going to be boundaries, or else you're not going to talk with them. You want to make sure that you don't take everything personal. You want to make sure that you take that person for who they are, and you don't try to change them. Everything has to start with you. You are going to change yourself. Begin to think in terms of self-care, what you can do to get out of the house sometimes and take care of yourself. And that might you might like I said, you go out with some friends. They're going to affirm who you are, and that's a start. You want to make sure that parents don't come into your marriage or your relationship. You want to stop thinking negatively about your relationship and start thinking positive. And consider uh, counseling if you have to. A counselor may point out codependent tendencies that you might have. Rely on peer support. Join a group that's a codependent group that might help you as you hear other things coming from other members of that group. Establish boundaries. I want to say that over and over. Establish boundaries. Stop the guilt. Don't feel guilty. Feel sorry. Don't feel sorry for the other person. Understand what self-care is all about. It's taking care of you. This is not selfish. Self-care is about how you are going to get through with this whole idea about caring for someone else. And in my case, like I said, I go on retreat sometimes. I take a 3-day break. I am going to see a friend next week for tea. And as you talk with your friends, your friends help you to affirm who you are. And even in the book of in the Bible, Titus 2, verse 12 says, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. So this is all I have, and I want to pray now for those of you who might be who might have a tendency to be codependent. Father, I pray in the name of Jesus for that man or that woman listening to this broadcast today, that you would take them step by step out of being codependent, and they will recognize that they they have your power within them to do more for themselves in the name of Jesus. So I want to thank you for watching this video, and I want to remind you to like this video if you do like it, and also to subscribe to my channel. My channel name is Overcoming Life Issues with Joan M. Blake, author. So thank you again, and may God continue to bless you and keep you until I see you again in the next video. Bye for now.